Colorado trounced Nebraska, but what's next for them?
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by Jace Medical. Today's episode is brought to you by Jace Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jace case, providing yourself with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jacemedical.com. That's J-A-S-E medical.com. On today's episode, joining me is Life in Football's Colin Moore. Colin, we're going to be talking about the Colorado Buffs and their huge win over Nebraska. Thank you for joining. Colin was in attendance at the game. And tell me what your biggest takeaways were from that game. It was sold out. The Big Noon was there. Everyone was there. Tell me about the game.
Man, listen, from the start of the game, it was amazing. I'm talking about before the game even kick off, you see Urban Meyer at the game, just standing there watching the game, just like we all watching Shedeur run the offense down the field. You got Matt Leinart sitting there. You got Mark Ingram. Then you got Lou Young. You got Omar Hardwick. You got Michael Irvin. You got so many stars. Wu-Tang. You got so many stars on the sideline. It was wild. Like, golly. Just imagine if you're a recruit and you there. Man, listen. Colorado is the spot to be. Coach Pryor, hey, he doing something ain't never been done before. Never.
Yeah. And I think you name all those stars, and they're probably not even as important as Deion Sanders. I think he was kind of the biggest star of the day that on Saturday, just because he was slicing and dicing Nebraska defense. That one, they lead the nation in sacks with a little help of the Colorado offensive line, but they're a very solid defense, and they kind of neutralized Colorado at first. Talk to me about, I guess, the reaction that you saw from the offense to go from scoring 0 points in the first quarter to putting up 13 in the second.
Man, listen, that whole first quarter, it was like back and forth, but we could never get it in the end zone, and Nebraska couldn't either. So I'm like, yeah, dog. And then the game seemed like it was going out fast. So I'm like, man, what's going to happen? Then second quarter coming, it's inching down to the last few minutes of the game, and then we finally get up on that board. I'm like, yes. I said, okay, we got that. Then I think we got a field goal right after that, and I want to say we came back, got another field goal, so we ended like 13-zip going in half. So I knew it was over then. I knew it. I told some of the Colorado, Nebraska fans, I said, hey, y'all, that's it. Because Nebraska did exactly what I thought they was going to do. They was going to try to get to Shedeur by all means necessary, run the ball much as they can, and keep their quarterback from passing. But once they got down, they had to throw. But for that whole first half, up until we scored, man, it was like, golly, come on. It felt different than TCU because TCU, we stopped them the first drive, and then we went down and scored. This game, it took, like you said, to the second quarter to score close to the end. So, man, that was tough. But once we got them points up and that last field goal right before half, oh, it was a wrap. I already knew that was over.
Yeah, and I think what we saw from Colorado was something that we talked about before the game was as our concerns. The offensive line, they gave up 8 sacks. Deion Sanders was kind of running for his life at all times, and their coverage was pretty good in the first quarter. Travis Hunter, I don't say he was held quiet, but he didn't do nearly as much as he did against TCU. So they obviously schemed around him and game plan for that. Talk about, obviously, Colorado wins. They go on to have a big second half. Talk about the impact of Xavier Weaver, a South Florida guy, like someone I know on the show. Then talk about just the overall reaction from the game and kind of the beef that's ongoing with Nebraska and Colorado as well.
Listen, man, when they might have tried the game plan for Travis Hunter, but every time when he got the ball and he was able to make something happen, man, he was out there slicing and dicing. But Xavier took off this game. And the touchdown pass that Shedeur threw him, I was in the end zone where it was at. So I'm looking at Shedeur, check his reads. He checking his reads. I said, I wonder who he going to hit. Then I see Xavier coming across. I said, okay, he finna hit him. But when is he going to make the throw? Because I know he going to hit him because that was the only moving target that he could really go for, and he had a chance to catch. So, man, he threw that thing and sliced it right through the boom. And you saw the Nebraska boys' hands like try to go by, but it was too late. Man, that ball came through there, bam, and he had it. TD. I'm talking about they celebrating. I say, yep, it's pretty much a wrap. Then you catch him going down the line. You see Dawson catch one. He looking. Bam, he hit Dawson. Then Dawson run one in. So it was pretty much like after that first half was over, and then the quarterback came out, and you know we did a quarterback spy. He wouldn't have took off and ran that TD like that. But since he took it, it made it look like they were finna do something. But man, they was out there handling business. The defense came back, held it down. You got Jordan Dominant coming in there, busting the running back, then coming in there, picking up a fumble. But that's what Jordan Dominant did everywhere he was at. He was a playmaker on defense. He always get that ball in his hands. Then you had Shador out there dancing on the Nebraska D-line, just spinning, playing sandlot ball. The play was so nice. Coach Prime says it's like a Heisman moment. It really was. Like, the play was that nice that if it would have been a catch, they could have played that on ESPN for years. That's how nice it was. But yeah, that rivalry with Nebraska, I seen that Shador, you know, he at halftime, I mean, before the game, put his watch up like, hey, I'm here, baby. Y'all back up off my Buffalo. But then I heard also that Matt Rule, I didn't read it, but I seen it in the little comments on Twitter that saying that he said they was praying. But y'all, everybody know when you go to somebody's symbol in the middle of the field, you being disrespectful. Because otherwise, you could pray anywhere. Why pray on you something you don't even you don't step on the end at yours? Like in the locker room, you know, normally they protect that the whatever your symbol is.
Yep.
At Nebraska, I guarantee they don't step on the end, but they gonna step on the end. So yeah, man. But it was all great. After second half, after we went up 13-0, it was pretty much a wrap. I knew that was over.
Yeah, and I think even with the 13-0 lead, I think that was the last field goal. I honestly thought it could have been a touchdown. I think it should have been at least 17-0 going into the half, or because Colorado left points out on the board, and I was interested to see how they would do with a big lead, because obviously against TCU it was back and forth the whole time. It was it was going to come down to who had the ball last. But for Colorado or Nebraska, it was like, can Colorado hold on to this lead? Will they get a little too confident? And they didn't. The defense played well. The defense played much better than week one. The week one defense, I think, we talked about it. If they had a semblance of a pulse or just maybe a little bit of a some swagger, they probably could have beat TCU by 15, but it just wasn't in the cards for them. Yeah. But like the defense of week two, much better. They got to they got to their quarterback a few times, Jeff Sims, and it was just much better than what we had seen the week prior. I want you to talk about, before we move on, we know what Colorado's good at, and we know kind of what they need to improve on. But what was the thing that stood out the most where it was like, oof, that could be their Achilles heel?
I want that run game. I want the run game to start getting it, where when we hand it off, we know we picking up yards, 5, 6, 7 yards, or 4, and you getting good yards at driving down the field with the run game. I want the run game going. Once we can get, because we have to get a 100-yard runner. We haven't had a 100-yard runner yet, at least to my knowledge, in the first 2 games. So
they barely have 100 yards. So they barely have 100 yards as a team. They have 113 as a team for 1.7 yards per carry. It's not great. It's not
right.
Great.
Yeah, we got to get that, because they're going to pressure that pass by blitzing so much. So it's almost we're going to be running right into the teeth of it, because you hand it off, they already coming. So it's really like you got to almost pass it to get them up off you. So hopefully the pass open up the run, or the run can really get established, and then we could go from there. But we definitely got to get that run game going. Yeah,
I think the run game and the offensive line, just protecting Shador more. Coach Prime himself said if Shador gets sacked, it's probably because 1, someone missed a block, or 2, someone ran the wrong route. So it's usually not him. I mean, it could be at times, but 99.9% of the time it's because someone else wasn't doing their job. And so Shador's been sacked 11 times through 2 games, which is almost half as many times as he was sacked all of last year. So they need to get that number right. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the impact of the win. What does it do for Colorado? This episode is brought to you by Jace, of course. If you or someone you know want to be healthy and safe, Jace is the perfect thing for you. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace case. The Jace case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. Jace Medical is simple. They handle everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication and delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Don't get caught up unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting the life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical, plus an additional $20 off if you use code LOCKEDON at checkout at jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Okay, we are back and we're talking about the impact of the win. We've seen an article about it today. Coach Prime talked about it with the media. Recruiting is buzzing. I think he might have to, I don't know how many phones Coach Prime has. I imagine he has 2. He probably needs 3 or 4 now to take all the calls that recruits are calling him for. People respect Colorado differently now. I think it's more legit. What do you think the impact of this win was?
Listen, big, because we needed it. We need every win on that schedule. But yes, the Nebraska win we needed. But going into it, most of us who watching Colorado and watching everything and watch the other teams as well, we kind of knew that we could get them. We basically, like, we know we're going to get Colorado State. Now going into Oregon and USC, that's where the whole country waiting on to see what we do in them 2 games. But far as this Nebraska game, man, listen, it was a packed house. Everybody in the country watching. Everybody really want to be a part of it, because when you saw everybody on the sideline, who wouldn't want to be around all them stars? You had T.O. and everybody else out there. So then you got ESPN and Fox both going to be there for the Colorado State game. And I'm going to say that again. Fox and so noon, the big noon kickoff, plus college game day, going to be there for the Colorado State. Not USC, but Colorado State. So that lets you know how good Colorado is and how much Coach Prime is impacting the whole country. The man done changed the game. This pretty much, if it keep going like it's going, he gonna be able to call any recruit he want and say, hey, this Coach Prime, you already know what time it is. Yes, sir, I'm gonna fly out the Boulder as soon as I can. That's what it's about to turn into. And the recruit, man, who don't want to go there? And you see all the big names from all across the country, everybody trying to come to the Colorado State game. So right now, he owns college football. He owns it back-to-back weeks and make it 3 weeks. And then you know for a fact, the next, basically, the whole September, we run it.
Yep. Colorado's trendy, and you mentioned ESPN, Fox Sports are going to be there. First Take, Stephen A. Smith, that's where they're going to be doing the show from. 60 Minutes. The show 60 Minutes is going to be out there. Pat McAfee confirmed he will be there. So, and there's going to be huge guests on his show. So there's going to be like 5 or 6 shows on site. Realistically, if you have a studio television show, you're probably filming in Boulder this weekend. Just want to let you guys know because it's popping in Boulder. I think to build off of your comments about the impact and stuff, I think the win has gained more respect for Colorado. I think they beat TCU, and all of a sudden, and we talked about it last week, TCU turned into, well, TCU lost a lot. They're not as good. And their defense wasn't good. And there was a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons why TCU was no longer a respectable win, right? Okay, so now Nebraska, also they struggled week 1. So I already knew that there was going to be a built-in kind of excuse. But people recognize that it's a good defense. And they were not able to – they shut down the Colorado offense for 1 quarter. Unfortunately, in American football, they play 4. So there was 3 more quarters that they did not shut them down for. Shedeur figured things out. Sean Lewis figured things out. And might I add, the Dawson rushing touchdown that you talked about earlier might have been the best, yet most confusing looking play I've ever seen. It looked like nobody was running the same play. And then all of a sudden he like goes in motion. He pitches it to him. I was like, that was amazing. Because realistically, it looked like nobody knew what was going on. And I was like, oh no, this is a disaster. But what do I know?
Yeah, so all that was them boys all going one way, and the one player that need to go the other way is going. That's all that was. And
I never seen a fake pitch forward like that, where it's like a fake shovel pass, and then he's like, "Oh, never mind, pitch it behind me." That was just a weird look, but it worked. But yeah, I think people respect the Nebraska win because of how good their defense was. The big criticism of TCU was their defense wasn't good. We saw the Georgia beat them by 50 or 60, whatever it was. And so we knew their defense wasn't good, is what people are saying. But Nebraska's defense is good. They lead the nation in sacks. And so for Colorado to kind of overcome these struggles which was kind of their first form of adversity, being shut down for a quarter, that was huge. And then recruiting wise, you could touch on it, Colin. It's popping. Who doesn't want to be there? It's popping.
Listen, everybody want to be there, man. It's probably recruits right now committed to other places already want to be here with us. Like we got the boy Boo Carter coming in.
Tennessee committed, yeah.
I think he committed to Tennessee because he's from Tennessee. But guess what? He coming. So since he's gonna be there, and now the day that he coming, all other big time recruits coming. Man, you think that thing gonna hold up? Man, he gonna get there. He gonna see how beautiful Boulder is, which he already seen it. But driving from Denver to Boulder was amazing. If I'm a Florida boy, I want to be there. Tennessee boy, I want to be there. Georgia, Alabama, man, all that. South Carolina, I want to be there. So it was beautiful. Then to be with Coach Prime and to see all the attention they getting, who wouldn't want to be there? Like now, everybody's saying what I've been saying from day one. Since we started talking about Colorado, Shedeur can go first round, be a top 5 pick, be the #1 quarterback taken. Now everybody's saying it over 2 games. I'm like, man, y'all get out of here with that mess. We've been talking that. Matter of fact, I got a tweet. I want to retweet it, but I ain't gonna retweet it. But since I'm talking to you about it, it's basically like retweeting.
Oh, do it.
I got a mate that I tweeted and I said, Shedeur, Caleb, and Michael Penix, and that's a Tampa boy, Michael Penix. The top 3 quarterbacks heading into the 23 season in the Pac-12. Boy, they beat me down for saying that. What he done? What he done? And right now, Shedeur is the #1 passing quarterback in the country. The man only played 2 games, and if you put everybody instead of, because the other person who got him by 60 yards played 3 games. You put Shedeur at 3 games, we're going to blow him out just like we blowing him out now. 2 games, Shedeur is beating the #1 passer by almost 200 yards. Now give us 3 games to match his 3 games. We probably beat that boy by 300-400 yards. So Shedeur killing it. The whole squad doing what they doing. They're getting the wins that they need to get, basically however they need to get them. The first game, defense bend but then break. The second game, the defense came to play, but we knew the offense of Nebraska wasn't really like that. This game right here, Colorado State, that's coming. They got they got the brakes beat off them against Washington State, but they had an off week to prepare for Colorado, and they got the real week of Colorado. So they should fight hard first quarter or maybe even second, but after that, we're going to pull off on them.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it perfectly. I think a lot of people were kind of scared to go with Shedeur before the season because he played well at Jackson State, but not at the Power 5 level. Yeah. And, I think it was a fair question to see how good he was going to be, but obviously now we know just how good he is. And like you said, I think unless Shedeur decides to play a quarterback left-handed this weekend, which he still might be good at, I don't know, he's probably going to surpass 1,000 yards in 3 games. Very, very likely. They're favored by 20.5 against Colorado State.
Right.
So they're going to put up some big points. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the overall buzz, the Pac-12 buzz, the national landscape buzz. But first, I need to tell you about our sponsor over at Game Time. Getting tickets can always be stressful, but it doesn't need to be. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deal tickets on football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You get images of your seats before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. All those kids that were waiting in line in Boulder this morning, they probably should have just gone on Game Time and got their tickets, but hey, that's just me. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Okay, we're back. We're talking about the buzz around Colorado. We know everyone is watching Colorado. They had the second most watched game outside of Texas, Alabama, which was a great game itself. And I think it wasn't by many. It was by a couple 100,000. So it was like Texas 8.67 million, Colorado 8.64ish million or whatever it was. And then it was like a steep drop off. It was like 4 million, 4 million, 3 million. So to say that Colorado is up there in terms of popularity with Texas, Alabama, it's pretty insane. It's crazy to think that, but Coach Prime is out there, so we knew that was going to happen. But it's the respect for me that Colorado is now getting that kind of makes me sit back and go, wow, he's really changed college football. Because prior to the season, even last week or a week ago, Tom Luganville from ESPN was like, this is the worst roster in the country. And now it's like he took that back. ESPN and everybody else is like, yeah, Colorado's really good. So what is your thought on the buzz around Boulder, around the Buffs?
You know, the people that was talking trash about Colorado never really looked at what came in. They just were talking. So they were just, everybody that said that was just running off at the mouth. They didn't go look at the squad, which we said last week. They didn't go look at the squad because Tom Luganville, we know he shouldn't have never said that. He know he shouldn't have said it. I guarantee you they gave that man some good money to say that. Because that had to be the craziest thing he hadn't done said in probably the last 10 years. But he know better than that. But he said it anyways. And ESPN and everybody know that. What I'm starting to think now is all the social media was against Coach Prime, but as soon as one game, 2 games, not everybody there. So really, they knew what we had because Urban Meyer came in before the season even started and say, hey, they got something. This is a national championship head coach. If he said that, everybody else should have knew what time it is. So therefore, they knew. I think the media I think they got with Coach Prime. This is what I'm thinking. They got with Coach Prime. Hey, Coach, we're going to talk so bad about you, man. And you go out there and you dog them boys, right? And then we're going to have everybody there for you because, bro, you got it. We seen it. Urban Meyer even came out there and said about you. So that's what I think happened. I think they really got together to boost up their numbers. And I actually thought that Colorado had the best numbers over the weekend, but you say otherwise. So either way, the buzz is booming because right now for the Colorado State game, they say the student section, I think to get maybe 12,000 allowed seats, people were staying overnight. So Wednesday night, these people sleeping at the school in the night with the rest of the Bears, Bees, and Lions, oh my, and waiting to get some tickets. That's how Coach Prime that changed the whole game, man. I'm talking about everybody want to be a part of this party. And they know even more people going to be here this week. So, yeah, he running it. I'm talking about running the whole country. I was telling my business partner today, Mike Figures, I said, bro, do you think a lot of people going to watch the game at 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast? And then that's when he brought up the reference. Hey, man, listen, they're going to watch it because when Floyd Mayweather have boxing matches, they be at like 12 o'clock at night. So I say, we finna find out how many people finna tune in on the East Coast when this game start, which I'll be on the cruise, but I still know I'm going to watch it, and I still know I'm going to watch all the highlights and get everything about it to know how it really went. So I'm going to basically be like I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it perfectly with Urban Meyer because Urban Meyer was honest. He said it was better than he thought. I think he, like many people, went to Colorado, or the people that did go to Colorado, and we go and we watch. And like I did the same thing when I went to the spring game, and I was like, there's some good guys. And obviously a lot of the spring game guys aren't there anymore. But Urban Meyer was like, these guys are good. It's better than I thought it was. And then the student thing is crazy because Colin, we were both young once. I just turned 24. I'm an old man now. None of us wanted to go to 8 a.m. classes, right? Nobody wanted to go to 8 a.m. classes. And these kids are up there at 5 a.m. to get tickets. That's how you know the Coach Prime effect has really hit a chord because college students, they want their day to start at 10 a.m. at the earliest. And so for them to be out there at 5 a.m., be out there 5 a.m. camping or whatever time it was, the ungodly hours of the night, that's crazy. And then my main point on like the analyst, I don't want to single out people, but I think, and I talked about this yesterday on my show, there was 2 storylines for Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, this whole time. One, he's going to succeed, and it's going to be crazy and everyone's going to be bought in like they are. Or 2, he's going to fail and they're just going to document every step of Deion Sanders' failure. Every article would be the failure of Deion Sanders. I think people probably already had articles cooked up of Deion Sanders fails in game 1 or whatever it may be. So I think they were kind of like flipping a coin and just being like, either way, we're going to get the attention. We just got to be there.
Right. Now, how I see that is this the new narrative right here. Coach Prime is doing so good. He's gonna go to Alabama. He's gonna leave you guys right in December. He's going to leave, and Nick Saban is going to retire. Now, y'all think Nick Saban finna shut it down this year? That man ain't finna go nowhere. And then think about it. Why would Coach Prime want to go to Alabama to follow? First of all, Bear Bryant got about 6 chips. Nick Saban got 7. He trying to get 6 or 7. He trying to get one more so he'll have more than Bear Bryant at Alabama. So why would Coach Prime want to go there to try to go for 9 chips to just even look like you in the ballpark when you could be in Colorado and win 2, and now you the best thing since sliced bread, and really you win the first one, you the best thing since sliced bread. So, man, and now the other side narrative is, well, we're still gonna wait the Alabama, the USC and the Oregon game. Oregon and USC probably gonna lose those 2, and then we can quiet down about this. So it's still they waiting. They either say he's so successful, he going to Alabama, or he gonna leave for the NFL, or they waiting to see what the Oregon and USC, and they probably hoping for Oregon State and UCLA and at Utah. Them the games they hoping for to get Coach Prime. Not all the way.
There's always a backup narrative. You always got to have a backup, because then if you're wrong, then you got to be like, well, here's the thing. You always got to have the backup narrative. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening to me and Colin talk about Colorado. You could follow us on social media. You see our handles down there. You can like, subscribe, and follow the show. We just hit 3,000 subscribers the other day, so thank you guys for that. Colin, tell the people what interview you got coming up or what's next for you guys over at Life and Football.
What we got next is to finish out this week. We're gonna be talking about the games all the way through. You can follow us at Life and Football on YouTube. You can follow us at lifeandfootball.com. Anytime you type in Life and Football anywhere, we popping up. Instagram, Twitter, we on there. Life and Ball on Twitter, Life and Ball _ on Instagram. And every single day, I'm going on live starting at 12 o'clock. Every day I'm going on live. I go live about 3-4 times a day. And then this week I'm not at the game at Colorado State because I'll be on that ocean on a cruise. We head to Mexico. But when I come back that following week, I will be in Oregon. Thank God I already got my sideline passes. I'll be there. I get there Friday. Everybody know on the Life and Football YouTube channel, I'm going live as soon as I touch down. And what I see in Oregon, they see. And the same at the game. Whatever I see, they see. So, man, we rocking out, man. That's what we got going.
And then we'll have, of course, Colin's recap sometime throughout the week. We'll figure out a day where it's like chatting with Colin, and we'll just make it a weekly thing. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and following us along our journey and Colorado's journey. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week.